Ready? All right.
Welcome, everyone. We have a full house today, and I didn't know that we would have so many people because I have computer problems. So my list didn't go. I had several phone calls. This is a meeting today, etc. So welcome. Are we going around now to?
No.
Not doing that. So you'll just have to sit and listen. Okay.
Okay, every meeting we start off with crime statistics. We're going to go straight into that. Tracy, before Tracy starts, I just want to mention that today is September 11th. It's a day that marks change in history that we all live today. It's one of those events in history that we will all look back on as being a pivotal point in history period. It's one of those moments. And we're live streaming, and with that in mind, we're not going to have a minute of silence, but we just wanted to acknowledge this momentous occasion and remember those that lost their lives and those that continue doing today to stand in the gap, as it were, protect the freedoms that we enjoy today. So we thank them for their service and remember those that have lost. And we certainly will never forget.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tracy Smythe. I'm the crime analyst here, the constable here, and I usually spend a small portion of the meeting talking about crime stats. For those of you who didn't get to see my presentation before. So I'm just going to go through some maps and do crime trends for you. And we're going to start with the collisions. Basically what you're looking at is a map of the collisions that we experienced in this division in the month of August. So that's the 1st to the 31st. And step up here. As you can see in the top, we've got failed remain collisions, obviously where people don't stay at the scene. We've got non-reportable. Those are considered collisions where there's under $1,000 damage and no injuries. We've also got personal injury collisions, that's self-explanatory. And then we've got property damage collisions. So that's when there are no injuries, but it is over $1,000 damage. And as you can see, we actually had a pretty good summer. In our crime management meetings, just in the last couple of weeks, there's been a real trend downwards as far as the number of collisions that we've been seeing. However, as you can see, it's usually on the main roads that we're seeing these things. Did anybody have any questions about this before I move on?
I just have a comment. In June, when we finished, there had been no fatalities in our division. Sadly, we did have a very sad situation where we had a mature individual, I believe he was 31-ish, decided to hang on the back of a TTC bus. He was in motion, and he fell off. I believe it was, I was trying to pull it up there, I believe it was in Market Eglinton area, and he fell off before he was found in the current lane. A couple of days later, he passed away with his injuries. But it just highlights the danger of that particular practice. So a very clear message that is not a thrill. It is not something that should be attempted. This was a strapping adult male who did this and couldn't hang on. So that's a sad event. It's hopefully a lesson learned from the community. One of the things that I look at when these maps come to me on a weekly basis is I'm looking for patterns, I'm looking for trends. And it's a very busy map when you put up a month. I look at it on a weekly basis, and really for the last 2 weeks there hasn't been any real definable or discernible patterns or concerns in an area. And it leads me to believe, based on what I see data-wise, what I see when I drive, is that some of these collisions are attributable to distracted driving. Whenever I pull up a traffic light and I see somebody look down and they're starting to smile at their crotch area, I'm convinced that they're on their cell phone. So I have told my officers for this coming week, want them concentrate on distracted driving. So fair warning to everybody driving in 43 Division, my option will be looking for those opportunities when they see you gazing down in areas where it would be a concern if you started to smile or fair warning.
Okay, and then just before I move on to the next map, I'm not sure if I was showing these maps before we left for the summer, but on a weekly basis, I do collision map, and then what I do is I take our enforcement summaries, and I overlay that on collisions. The next map I'm going to show you is an example of what Superintendent Kennedy sees on a weekly basis so that he can determine where we should be putting our enforcement efforts. So this next map, you can see the red dots are the collisions that we have within the last week. And here's the circles cover that, that's where we've had enforcement. Now, the collisions that are on there are from a week prior. So what we do is we focus our attention on those particular areas. And as you can see here, I think that week we had Lawrence Avenue was an area of concern, and actually Steve Happy was working quite diligently on Lawrence Avenue that week.
This is important in order to get the word back to your communities and certainly for the representatives of political staff here today. That people tend to say, you know, we're in a fishing hole or whatever the case is, really responding to where collisions are occurring and trying to scale the activities, root causes of accidents. So this is an important map to bring back to your communities and let them know exactly where it is that we're doing enforcement and why we're in those areas.
Do you want to add to that?
No, you said it very well. He, this is not a matter of anybody winning a toaster or anybody taxing the public. We are in the business of public safety. We put our officers where we know through the collision data that we need to put officers to try and make the public domain safer. And this is a reflection, this map is a reflection of exactly what we're doing. We're not hiding, we're not, in fact, if you're part of our Twitter community, you know that we put out on Twitter where we are, where we're enforcing. We're not hiding. We're trying to make the public domain safe.
All right, we'll move on. Now, these are the break-and-enters that occurred over the last month. Once again, August. And I've divided this into patrol areas so you can get a rough idea of where they occurred. And the divisions, as you can see, are the gray lines. It's fairly clear. We've got 5 control areas within the division. And the numbers, sorry, the colors of the dots basically represent that. Did anyone have any questions or perhaps the superintendent wants to comment on our standards?
If there's any questions, the break-and-enters in our division is the single most concern that I have of our 7 major permitting here. They are up about 87, I believe it is, over this time last year, 87 individual occurrences. So it is a concern for us. We're working on it. We have arrested people. We have had some proactive work done. We've had our officers out handing out material, literature, get plate literature to people. If you've got a car in your neighborhood that's with the little hairs come out of your neck and stand on end, something's not right, get the plate helps us. If somebody is in your apartment building and they're going from door to door, knocking at the door, and you're not feeling right about it, pick up the phone and call the police, because we had that happen this week. We had a citizen call up in one of our areas that somebody was knocking on the doors, and somebody fiddling with the keys. Our officers were there very, very quickly, and we arrested the guy and charged him for breaking and entering. So that is the response that we need to see, because we do have a problem with breaking and entering. We work very hard for what we have. We want to make sure that we have it when we come home. So we appreciate incidents like that when the public partner with us and we see a person who was committing, attempting to commit break and enter arrested.
Move on to the robberies. This is a particular area where we're actually very happy with the way our numbers have come down from last year. And as we progress further through my presentation, I'll actually go over our each crime indicators with you. But as you can see, there are a couple of areas where there seems to be a few more, but you have to keep in mind this is over a month. And quite often, some of these are involving kids as well. We've got cell phone rips, you know, kids like taking each other's chains as well. I'm happy to say that the gold chain grabs that we were experiencing last year was not as bad a problem as they have been. We're seeing less and less of that, although it is still going on. We're happy about where these numbers are going. I'm not saying it's, you know, static, but we're happy to see it continues to trend down. So, Superintendent, do you want to comment on robberies?
No, again, the robberies is one of those areas that we concentrated on really last year. Was the first year where we really put an emphasis. We rearranged some of our resources to address robberies, which was a concern, especially those robberies that took place where culturally sensitive jewelry was taken. In some of those areas, we've actually driven down robbery over 80%, so we've done really, really well overall in our division. And the robberies are down. We're going to get the stats, but off the top of your head, we're down to about over 100 occurrences. And this time over last year, we're about 38%, I think, something like that, down in robberies. We'll get to that slide at the end of the presentation. We're doing very, very well. There's no acceptable level of crime, as Tracy just indicated. We're not happy, we're still working on it. But we are content that we have made positive strides forward. Part of those strides have been people becoming aware and being more proactive in their own behavior, being aware of the surroundings, not displaying jewelry, not getting into elevators, strangers in their buildings, waiting for the next elevator, doing those things proactively, not walking up the stairwell alone at night, so that they protect themselves, taking responsibility for themselves. And that's important. Again, that's a part of the partnership that you have with us, because we present that message universe in your surroundings, and that message is getting through, receiving the robberies through that partnership.
Can I just add something, Superintendent? One of the things too to be careful is we all carry these smartphones and these iPod devices. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't play your music at night when you're out walking in your ear, because you can't possibly hear what's going on around you.
Yeah.
This was
37%. Just went 50%.
Question. Besides the jewelry, robberies, and robbery, jewelry, robberies, what are the other nature of robberies?
Any cell phones. It's mainly youth cell phone robberies. That would be the most common.
Just like what Rob was saying.
Yeah, those are the two main areas that we see.
And the last map here is the vehicle thefts that have taken place over the last month. I know I bring this up at every meeting, but you'll see that up in that area around Scarborough Town Center, there always seems to be a couple. And the main reason for that is it's such a large shopping mall. People come from all over the city to park for this art. I know that we work quite diligently, Paul Wall and Julie Campbell were very diligent with the facilities to have our walking program to make sure that people continue to walk their cars, you know, put all the valuables on the site, in the car. So,
And if I can just add to that, Scarborough Town Center are incredible partners of ours. Their security has invested a tremendous amount of money in state-of-the-art video systems. They continue to improve those every day, which will help us clear many of these occurrences. What tends to happen is the technology is deployed out there is that there's a catch-up lag time there where people start seeing we are making arrests, and it's a very small group of people that commit these offenses and the word gets around. And suddenly we'll see a huge decrease in victimization there. And that can be attributed to the money that they're investing in technology to protect their client base, you know, us, people who attended the mall there. So they were very, very happy with the relationship we have.
Have been determined by Stats Canada to show the quality of life or measure quality of life. These particular stats I've taken, and they are up to date, basically what we're looking at is our sexual assaults are up 2% over the way they were last year, but I have to say for the week they're down about 4% from where we were last year. So we are seeing a decrease in relationships. We're looking at robberies, 37% down. As I was saying, we continue to go down. Breaking enters, as Superintendent has been saying, are up. We're looking at a 43% increase over last year. Mind you, we're out there, we're doing projects. Break all the years, education priority. So, auto theft is up a bit, and I have to say, auto theft is up right across the city and right across the province. It's not just here in College, so it just seems to be a general trend. And theft overs are up slightly as well. But overall, we're down 6% from where we were last year at this time. And last year at this time, we were down 26%. Right on time.
I think that that's an important point that Teresa's making. I love stats, and when I look at these stats, I always remind myself that stats compared to year after year, you can't look at stats in the vacuum of that current year. Last year, at the end of the year, we were 27% below where we were the year before. So we reduced the 7 major crime indicators by 27%. So when you see a statistic like 43%, this time last year we had driven most of that data down considerably. So it's not a totally negative picture that we're looking at when you compare it in those terms. The equation from us driving it down last year, it is still a concern to us, don't get me wrong. This is a big concern to us. But you've got to look at it in the big picture of this data, where does 43% come from? It comes from comparing it to last year.
Would you say that the majority, well, would you say that Christmas time brings up the robberies because of the cars and the breaking in the cars and various things?
Well, a robbery is a theft of life. Is a theft of auto, which is, depending on what was done, would be a theft under or a theft over. So we're talking a little bit different. At Christmas time,
yeah, just the Christmas season.
We do see an increase in a shopping center, or they're at a certain plaza, they go in and they buy presents or whatever they're buying, they bring it back to their car, and then they go to more purchasing. People watch, or people are moving around parking lots, and if they see things lying out open in their car, you're advertising. So yeah, we do see a little, it's not a robbery, that's a model, but absolutely we're very cognizant of that. That's why Paul Rome will do events such as Water Blues and Ocean Hall, sort of the center around Christmas time. But crime scene, we've just gone through our high period of problems, which is the summer period. Now that the weather starts to cool down, people are putting on outer clothing. That sort of advertisement that you're wearing some jewelry start to go away, and we'll start to see a reduction in that. Start to see a reduction in the dragon headers simply from the fact that now people have left their cottages, they're back home in the city of Toronto. There's more people moving around, there's more activity in the neighborhood. We'll see people bringing it and starting to drop just because of the cycles. So time of year does affect crime, absolutely.
I know you've covered this before, but some people may not know, and I've forgotten, that theft over, what was the amount, there was an amount of money, wasn't there, when you say theft over, it's over a certain
It's
amount?
$5,000.
5,000. Okay. The other thing, auto thefts, is there any statistics being taken, or what age?
You know what, generally speaking, they're fairly newer automobiles, because most of the thieves want that, they, ship them out, quite often that's what happens when the vehicle is stolen. A lot of older cars get sold for parts, but there's no particular trend now people will want.
A little Suzuki is safe.
Okay, I just wanted, one last thing I want to talk about here. I know every month I talk about crime trends and I try and warn everybody about all the nasty things that are going on, but this month I want to talk about something really positive. And just yesterday, we had a lady graduating as college, Sophia Balash, and she is an Olympic swimmer, a silver medalist at the Pan Am 2007 Games, and she was inspired to become a police officer by Civil Law resource officers. They met a couple of years ago. Julie was visiting Scarborough Junior School to speak about things, and she met Sophia, who was actually there speaking about her Olympic adventures. And in a very short conversation, it took about 5 minutes, she told Julie that she really admired that job that she did, and she wanted to be a police officer someday. And then, so she was encouraged to take the Police Foundation course, and next thing you know, yesterday, Julie had the honor of escorting Sophia up to receive her police badge. And it was a really nice day for all of us. That's it.
Very good. It's at this time that we go into community concerns, but before we raise any new issues, I just want to close off some of the concerns that were raised in the June meeting. So we're going to start talking, I'm going to hand it over to Peter. The first issue is Kyle Dodd had raised some issues up at the Civic Center.
Yes. So I met with Kyle, and speaking about the Scarborough Town Center, Kyle is the security manager at the Scarborough Town Center. And meetings that we were holding with the staff in the city that run the Civic Center there. And we're looking at, they've already spoken previously about our involvement, but they're looking at some cooperation in terms of videos and patrols, and maybe extending some of the boundaries in terms of their responsibilities for security to act on each other's behalf. So we're pretty confident that that's going to help address many of the issues. Our officers also. Just say I was going to stand at attention there. Sorry. Give me a moment, Chief. But our officers also, we patrol up there. We have officers dedicated to the Scarborough Town Center as well that work on a daily basis there. So they've increased their patrols in that area there. It's a large area that we're talking about the Scarborough Town Center, a huge area of responsibility. But we are working towards solving that problem on a long-term basis.
Okay, West Rouge Community Center, Rudy mentioned you did been seeing exchanges.
Yes, and actually we did speak about that. So our officers, there's a team answer essentially.
Well, no, it's some of the dances happen, but we have a incident with dance last
Yeah.
night, but there is kids smoking manufacturing stuff after the weekends.
Yeah, after the.
No, not after the dances, regular weekends.
Yeah. No. Hey, I guess, sorry, I misunderstood what the superintendent was asking. But we had talked about the dance, what was happening at the dance thing. But in terms of the park there, it's West Rouge Park, Adams Park, all those parks along that area there, our officers, there's a group of kids there that just go from park to park. We seem to chase them from park to park. And I think many of them are the ones that showed up at the dance, and it wasn't, you had a problem with there as well.
Now, the dance is something different. I think
So what happens is that these kids, when there's a group of kids, they seem to be a little braver, and we end up following them from park to park, and certainly when our officers are there, they move along. Sometimes we're laying some charges, some provincial offenses charges. In the case of Adams Park, I know we did lay charges. West Rouge we didn't. In terms of that, what happened at the yeah, no, absolutely, but the parks, yeah. No, and you're absolutely right. And what we did find there is that the kids are all gravitating down towards those areas. Those parks are quite large. They're, quite overgrown and mature kind of parks. Lots of in behind there, and our officers found that. We patrolled on bikes with our greatest success. And so we just do the loop of all the parks essentially there.
So that leads us into the next item, which is vandalism and drug trafficking in Cornell area, which includes the Cornell Park, the school, really the whole area of that, the intersection of Market and North. What we did during the summer, we initiated a project, we called it Project Jellystone, where we paid special attention to our area parks. We were very successful, is what we're hearing from emails that we've received from members of the public who were concerned about it. We received some feedback that we had made a difference, that the parks were actually at one point not being used by the area residents because they were concerned. And as the summer progressed, our special activity, our special attention that we gave to those particular locations resulted in the parks being utilized by the area residents again. So we're very happy to see that, and we very much appreciate and the feedback that we get on our activity in those areas, that the officers are having an impact on those who want to have impact on. So that closes off that. The last item that is the issue that was raised by Rob Cairns last year about 911. And so after that meeting, I tasked Randy with producing a video for this event so that he could educate us on 911 a little bit more. And Randy has taken that. And so Randy's going to talk about how to contact police in general, and then we're going to get a little bit more information on 911.
Good afternoon, everybody. That was a mistake, by the way, on this plan. He had a real singer we could use for a couple of weeks now, so I said. When the superintendent tasked me with, actually before I say it, I just want to mention a couple things. We have some people from social media that are attending our event here for the first time ever. Like Kimmy, for example. Kimmy, if you just want to stand up for a sec. I've been interacting with her for over a year now, and she has joined. She's actually joined the 53 years of CPLC, and she's been kind of tasked with getting them a little more up to speed. And that's basically why she's coming forward to do it. It's not speaking in competition, but and not to steal the fire from Julie's friend. We had another police officer, a friend in the room. We have another recruit that graduated yesterday, Jerry Chadwick, who's our trustee. His son actually graduated from police college yesterday and is in 55 years now. So. Good to see you. So thank you, Superintendent. He asked when he me with this. I started doing some digging, and we found that we already had a video. It was a few years old, but it's still a very good video. So we went about, I'm going to show you 4 minutes of this video, and then I'm going to talk about it a little bit. And then we actually have somebody from our communications building here, called the dispatcher, or the dispatcher supervisor, from our communications building. She's going to give a presentation as well. It's a very big presentation, and that's why we're live streaming it. Let me just get this over there. So this will be 4 minutes.
Hello, I'm Chief of Police William Blair. At the Toronto Police Service, we know that we serve the most multicultural city in the world, and our officers are here to help you, no matter what country you come from or what language you may speak. At folks in your neighborhood, they'll be walking, riding cars, and riding bicycles, and all of them are there to help you. I encourage you to talk to these officers. Tell them about yourself, your community, and any safety concerns that you may have. This video is designed to help you understand more about the police. And it will tell you how to contact the police if you need help, and it will explain some of the rights and responsibilities when dealing with the police. The Toronto Police Service proudly reflects the diverse communities that we serve. We are dedicated to delivering police services in partnership with our communities to keep Toronto the best and safest place to be.
This video will provide you with information about the service and how you can get help from the police when you need it. It will give you information about the rights and responsibilities of both members of the community and the police. It will also provide you with some information about why police stop people and what you can stop. The Toronto Police emergency phone number is 911. The phone number for non-emergencies is 416-808-22. 911 is for emergencies only, which include a fire, a crime in progress, a medical emergency, or a vehicle accident. 416-808-22 for non-emergencies, such as thefts, lost passport. 911 is emergency in any language. When you call 911, the call taker answers by saying, "Do you require police, fire, or ambulance?" If English is not your first language, the 911 call taker will question you to determine what language you need. If you are unable to speak for any reason cannot be determined, the call taker will create a call to be dispatched to the address the phone number is assigned to. If you are calling from a cellular phone, you must be prepared to describe where the help is needed. If the call taker can determine the language that you are speaking, you are connected to the language line service. An interpreter who speaks your language can explain to the 911 call taker what your emergency is, and you will be sent the help you need. What do I do when police come to my
Wanted to, why I actually had gone on as long as I did. This part of the video that was made by Toronto Police or Video Services Unit. It's called the Guide to Police Services in Toronto. This gets into all kinds of different things that, that you may wonder about. It answers a lot of questions. It's 13 minutes long. Very willing to hand out today to anybody that wants them. You know, if it's going to kind of sit in the back of your car or back of the truck on the floor, then please don't bother. But if you think you're going to share this with somebody or take it to members of the community and maybe share it at a town hall meeting or something, then please take one and do whatever you need to. But there's something else that's even better than that.
Oh, yeah? I'm sorry, I take it back. Sorry? Of course. Was organized.
So thank you for that question, Pat, because it actually is a very good question. This is actually available online, and it's available to anybody online. So you don't necessarily need a police officer to come and teach these, or teach us to that, or present it to you. You can do this on meeting, you can do it for a church group or however you feel. The topics that it includes contacts, when to call 911, how do I become a police officer, what are my rights if I'm arrested, what if somebody is arrested and they don't speak English. These are very important topics, so please take the DVDs. The DVDs that I have to hand out, they're only English, Mandarin, and Cantonese, but as you can see online, it's been translated to 25 different languages, okay? So please.
Where is that?
I posted this on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, but the address is torontopoliceguide.ca. So www.torontopoliceguide.ca. It's going to be posted all over Toronto Police's site, our Facebook, our Twitter, and 43 web pages as well. So torontopoliceguide.ca. Open to everybody, any language you want, any questions about that. Okay, good. So this was a bit of a lead into our presentation. It was Lynn from Communications.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tracy Finn. I'm the 911 coordinator for the Toronto Police Service. I've been with the service for just under 23 years, and I started out as a 911 call taker and dispatcher. Soon my new role as coordinator just under 3 years ago. So what I'm going to talk to you today is a little bit about what we do in the communication center, a little bit more about what you need to know when you're calling 911. So I'll be open for questions. So communication services, the primary location is in Don Mills. Our backup location is in North York. So, okay. So Toronto Police Service is the Toronto Public Safety Answering Point. That's PSAT is what we call them. The Public Safety Answering Point for the City of Toronto means any 911 calls for anywhere within the 416 or 647 are answered in our communication center. Not just call 911 for police, but also for ambulance and fire. In addition to the 911 duties, our call takers also receive all emergency and non-emergency calls for the Toronto Police Service, as well as dispatch all calls for the police. Staff with about 231 communications operators or COs, and they do rotate between call taker and police dispatcher. In dispatching, once the call is received, they're sent to the dispatchers who take care of the various areas of the city. So, for example, 43 Division has one dispatcher dedicated to them, and they're responsible to dispatch the officers within their division. Some of our dispatch desks, where we may be less busy, will have 2 divisions for 1 dispatcher. just depends on the makeup of how we have the center set up. We have an administrative switchboard as well, so when you call 808-2222 and you have a non-emergency call, they will call non-emergency to report that you lost something. They put you through our non-emergency queue to have an operator create that call for you. All incoming calls that come into our center are on an automated call distribution or ACDQ. What that means is every call is routed with priority. If you call 911 at the exact same time that I call non-emergency, your call will take priority. Our system is set up to know that anything that comes into 911 is top priority. If somebody is sitting on hold in the non-emergency queue for a minute or two and a 911 call comes in, that 911 call will answered. I'll make sure that the longest waiting and the highest priority is answered by the first available operator. So besides 911, we also get non-emergency calls. All the calls from the officers within the various divisions, alarm companies, TTC. We have a dedicated ride line, so reporting impaired drivers, parking type calls, and we actually have a TDD and TCY for the deaf. Not used very often anymore, but still in existence. We're looking towards offering texting with the deaf, hopefully by the end of this year, towards Q1 next year. We don't have a set date. Started to roll out in Canada in March of this year, so we're slowly getting texting for the deaf running. These stats are from 2013, but we did over 1 million 911 calls last year, just shy of 2 million overall. Works out to about 5,200 calls a day. Within the last 3 months of this year, I can tell you that our call takers have been working their little butts off. They've been doing close to 6,400 calls a day, so our call volume has increased. Not sure exactly why our calls are increasing, but they sure are. So we've had over the period of June to September, over 30 days where calls were in excess of 6,000 calls. So just a little bit about 911. Everybody assumes when you call 911, we know where you are. It's not necessarily the case. If you have a traditional old school landline, bell type phone, plugs into the wall, chances are we'll get your address when you call 911. If we're using voice over the internet type service, we might not, that might not be the case. With a traditional 911 call, what we expect to see is your address, your telephone number, and the name, along with the type of service, and that at the time of the call. So again, traditional landline, again, we should see all of that information. We should also know who your carrier is. All of that information is readily available with that data at the exact moment your call is sent through the 911. If you're calling from your cell phone, we do get a data spill. We get a cell tower location that your call signal came from. We get your handset number. We get an XY location. Within about 30 seconds of the time you call, we get a second spill that gives us an XY location. That is not a pinpoint location. That does not mean we know where you are. It's an approximation based on a bunch of factors we can't control. For example, I'm on the 9th floor of my building where my office is. It puts me over a kilometer away from where I am, because it can't calculate height, and there's really no possible way for that signal to tell me that I'm located on the 9th floor inside a building at a specific address. If you're calling from out on the street, it's certainly a tool that can help us find you or locate somebody that may need assistance. Again, if we go back to the voice phones or internet phones, a lot of people buy it and plug into your laptop with a pair of headphones and away you go. We don't get any information from those phones. Most times, people don't read their terms of service. They assume that they will get 911. They don't necessarily get 911. What they did is transfer to an operator service who will then route your call to the corresponding 911 agency. So there's another built-in delay in getting the help you need. If you're looking at these types of services, they're great to help on long distance and things, but I would really make sure you know what you're buying before you purchase a service and expect to have the same type of 911 service you get with traditional landline. Anybody have an idea what our top language is in Toronto? It's Cantonese and Mandarin. Chinese is the top. So the top language for us has not changed in many, many years. Cantonese Mandarin has seemed to be the top language for quite a while. Every year that we see a different change. This year it's Hungarian. This presentation is not going to be wrong. Spanish isn't one that I've seen in the top 10 in a long time, and Hungarian kind of just came out of nowhere in the last year. But those 9 below Cantonese or Chinese tend to switch on and off. The second national language doesn't usually break the top 10, so it's interesting to see if they like it. So we ask a lot of questions. We're pretty nosy beings. We ask because we need to know, not because we want to know. The main questions that happen: where are you in relation to the incident? Are you located there? Where is the suspect and or the victim if they're not in the same location? These are all questions you're going to be asked, just so we can figure out the type of response and where we're going. So the what is happening, and the when. Is it happening now, or when did it happen? That's going to determine the type of response we send. If it happened yesterday, it's not an emergency today. We can still send you the help you need, just not on an emergency basis. So the who, we ask a lot of questions about description, name, age, date of birth, race, sex, ethnicity, any markings, tattoos, facial hair. All of those types of questions we're going to ask you. The more descriptive you can be, the better we are at locating the person or persons we're looking for. And then weapons. Were they indicated? Were they seen? What were they? Once the call taker gets the information they need, they process the event on our CAD system, our computer-aided dispatch, and they send it to the dispatcher for dispatch to the divisions. The call taker can determine based on a priority basis the nature. We have a set priority basis for certain types of calls. We have something that we call a hot shot. That is something that the dispatcher deems as an urgent request for service. We will put that out, and the officers on the air, as soon as they hear that word, they know that it's something that's in progress and requires immediate response is happening now. And that's just what I just said. We do have mapping, and I like to show this because you call in a picture, or sorry, an intersection or what have you. This is what the dispatcher basically sees at the time that you call. You can see the little pink with the flags. That tells us there's schools. We know that it's a school. But it really doesn't mean much when you look at that picture. We have the ability to bring over an aerial view, so you can see the exact same picture when we bring over that aerial, and it paints a totally different picture, especially if it's somebody who doesn't really know where they are. I'm in the middle of a baseball diamond, or I'm in the middle of a bunch of apartments. Most lines don't really tell me where there's a bunch of apartments, but once I look at the picture, it might help me to better ask questions and help locate where the police response is required based on what I'm seeing there. Statistics, unfortunately, again, the 2013 stats are not published yet. That's the dispatch calls for service citywide. So 2012, 894,000 calls. They don't correlate to the calls for 911, and that's because we can get multiple calls for any one event. Take an accident on the Don Valley Parkway, we'll get 20, 30 calls for a major accident, all for one event. Take the ice storm back at Christmas time, our lines were overwhelmed. We had, every tree, every wire down, we get all of those calls. Essentially one event, various areas of the city, but multiple calls. Likewise, when there's the earthquake or the blackout, we get people who call us to tell us the lights are out. You know how long they'll be out. That's not what we want people calling 911 for. If your air conditioning's out, our air conditioning's out. The park's not working.
So we ask that people keep the lines clear when they're recording those. We don't need to know that the lights are out, you know. What we do recommend is that people have a old school phone that just plugs into the wall that doesn't require any power. Still, I'll disclaimer, there's a good chance in a power outage that phone will not work. So you want to have just a cheap phone that plugs into the wall and requires no electricity in the event of a power outage. Keep in mind your cell phones won't work for a great length of time in a power outage as well, because cell towers require electricity and at some point they lose their 8 to 12 hour life as well. So the blackout, that's why people were having trouble making calls. The power affected those towers. So just some nice notes. Calling 911, remain calm and stay on the line. I know that's easy to say when you're taking the call. Her daughter was 17 when she was 3 months old. She went conscious and stopped breathing. And I was every caller I always said I would never be. So I totally relate to what it's like to be hysterical. But we do ask the questions for a reason. And although it seems like we're delaying, we are processing and getting help on the way as we go. Give your location, don't assume we know. And I always laugh when we're in 43 Division, so if you call 911 and say we're in 43 Division, even a place I'd like to hope the dispatchers will be able to get you there. But take the community center down the way. How many of you know the address of the community center? So pay attention when you're going into somewhere that's not familiar. You're going into a park. Almost every park has a civic address posted at the outside of the park. Try and take note of those things so that if you are calling from a cell phone, you can help us help you in the event of an emergency. Answer all questions to the best of your ability. It's okay to say you don't know. It's okay to say you didn't see something. If you don't know, you don't know. And don't hang up until the operator directs you to do so. Sometimes people think that just saying, hurry up and get here quick, this is the address is enough. It's not enough, and we'll let you know when we have everything we need. And my favorite, if you call 911 in error, please be sure to tell the call taker it was a mistake and don't hang up on us. A lot of time just to make sure that there's no problem at the phone number that's called us. Pocket dials and 911 hang-ups account for 20% of our 911 call volume. I can't tell you how many times I listen to recordings of people clicking through the subway, paper shuffling in a briefcase, and radio in the car, and we call back and they have no idea that they dialed 911. So staying on the line, you might think you're hanging up in time. The connection to 911 happens in microseconds. So just because you don't hear a ring, it's already connected. So that's why we're getting called. You say, but I didn't call, it didn't ring. Yes.
What would your procedure be if somebody pockets dial without even knowing it? For example, in the case, so what would the procedure?
So what we're going to do is we're going to call back and we're going to say, if you dialed 911, you have an emergency. You're going to say, no, it was a pocket dial, it was a mistake. We're going to ask you to lock your phone. So we did have a social media campaign a while back with hashtag lock before you pocket. So that was kind of campaign in 2012 to bring light to the situation. That was really impactful, and we have seen a decrease in those calls. But we ask, especially if most people don't know they called 911. But again, if you all of a sudden notice you see something on your phone, just don't hang up. Let us know. And that's for questions.
Sorry, I missed one. I just have a question about, you said something interesting about the texting through the dash.
Yes.
I didn't catch, sorry, or I missed it, when that's being implemented, because that is, like, a lot of city agencies are now transitioning to that, because they're like voting and whatever, but this, so that's a great initiative.
I can tell you, I've been involved with the texting with the DEF project since about 2008 is when it was brought up. I represent the Public Service and have the CRPC, their emergency services working group. And it's a group of telecom and 911 representatives who deal with 911 issues across the country. So texting for the DEF was mandated back in 2010, and we've been working on it since then. 2012, Toronto Police participated in a pilot with the deaf community. Less than perfect, it's not a complete text to 911, it'll be a call then text method. So what that means is the deaf caller would have to register their device, which is no big deal. They're registered with the wireless service provider. All that means is that when they do dial 911, because they're going to be placing a voice call, even though they don't speak, they're going to dial 911 just as you or I would today. We're going to see a class of service. Right today, we see something that indicates to us it's a cell phone call. This is going to let us know there's a deaf caller on the line, and our indications text out to them. So we did that pilot in 2012. We've had to make a lot of technical changes. Health Canada's been changing their 911 network to allow that connectivity for the data to travel. We're in the works for that. As I said, starting in May, Vancouver, Ecom in Vancouver started offering. City of Calgary is texting. Peel Region in Mississauga is texting. So we're getting there. I can't give you a date, unfortunately, yet, but I can tell you I'm involved and we are working on it. As soon as we have some great things to add, we will be putting it on our websites and getting information. Okay. Anybody else?
When you see, thank you, Tracy. When you see the amount of call volume that's coming in, and you know, we're always looking for partners with yourself definitively to help with call volume, is to make sure that when your phone is in a pocket or in your purse, or in your coat, wherever it is, it's locked, so that you don't do those dials, 911 by your pocket. So it does require steps from the communications branch to then reach out to you. That's tying up a line that other people may be in a queue now to get in and speak to somebody. So if you've been lost your phone, fantastic. And Tracy, thank you very much for coming. We very much appreciate it. I've known Tracy for a number of years. In fact, I was working in communications when Tracy got promoted because she is such a good person and such good at what she does. Randy's asking about himself. Talk to Tracy and you'll find out what you need to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. So that's very good. So that closes off last year. Is there any new community concerns? Any new community concerns that you can tell us about?
Before the waterfront, how often is that? That's my guys are responsible for that. And then I work in the community response office. We do have two ATVs that we do utilize for that. And we are up and down many of the waterfront trails there. In addition to the paved portions on mountain bikes, our officers are there. That is during the summer months. We're usually down there at different parts of the day, not the whole trail, but at different parts of the day wherever some intelligence has come in that indicates parties, the bonfires that we get occasion to see down there, or when neighbors call in, fireworks going off or just general noise. We'll definitely send officers in during that time. Proactively, our officers love being down there. They really do. But it really does happen as a result of some information that we have. At nighttime? No, again, if we receive some information that indicates that we need to be down there during that time, we certainly are. I know that during the summer, the city of Toronto contacted us with regards to some parties that are happening down there, and we certainly did attend, and people were cautioned. On one occasion, a pretty elaborate sound system was removed, and the city was contacted again, and they trespassed those people on a permanent basis. So, at nighttime we do also go down there. At night we have the added problem. It's so dark down there. There are a lot of lights and things. So we do make a point of being down there whenever we find the time.
So accessibility other than walking goes in the chair now. They come in through waterfront.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I see you down in the morning. I go down at 6 o'clock in the morning, and over the last 3 weekends, there seems to be hundreds of broken bones.
Yes. Hundreds of yes. And we do contact the city, and it's important that you call 311 when those things happen. So that's what
They're pretty much on the spot.
Yeah. And
It would be nice if it wasn't that.
No, you know, you see it different. Also shows, so it requires our officers to be in a lot of different areas. And so it's all about that balance, but we certainly do control out there and do respond. Yeah. Let us know.
Well, usually you find out after the
fact,
yeah, and that's good.
And that's usually what they bank on, that they're so removed from people that no one is going to.
Well, generally, nobody has a problem as long as they don't. I mean, the kids go there and do some music, and it's broken glass everywhere. Absolutely.
That's a concern for us as well.
Peter,
Yes, sir. Oh.
What's
Right
good?
away, buddy. Go ahead.
Strange of me to ask a question. Are you ready for travel in a second? Never mind. Have we had, off the topic here, have we had any complaints about parking around and around that mosque on Mance and Kingston Road? There?
At the very top of Mann's. Yeah.
Have we had any? I was listening to a very limited conversation. They're talking about the parking. It got a little bit better. They're not in the plaza as much anymore. But they're parking erratically.
Not about parking. I have had some complaints in that area about some other things, but not about parking. And that's not unusual. Sometimes the parking enforcement will get those calls, and we're just not aware of it because parking enforcement really looks after that. When it comes to religious facilities, we tend to get a lot of leeway there. You know, the services are such a short period of time. It's usually Sunday mornings, but certainly we'll respond to any major complaints, and certainly if there's a safety issue, we'll work with the mosque. We did with some other issues that happened in the area, but it's not just the mosque. We have the same issue that any church go to, synagogues and so on. So,
Well, what these guys were saying, I was just listening, is that they seemed, the people seemed, they didn't seem worried about it.
yeah.
They felt that they were exempted. That's what bothered them. So I don't know. I
There's
just
a
heard
lot of leeway given to religious sites.
a lot of it. So that's the answer.
Is that true though?
Yeah, absolutely, there is, it's not just any, or one particular group, or one particular faith, all of the churches across the city, and during those times of worship, and there are different days of the week for different faiths, and they are given leeway, because we understand what's happening, and this is not a disregard of the law, because of a special event. Can you imagine if we started to enforce the law strictly on every occasion, you have a church full of people who are at a funeral at a given time? It's just not appropriate for us to be doing it there. Enforcing moment. And so we do give special consideration to places of worship.
Good to know, good to know.
But we will address safety.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Peter,
Yes, sir.
Morningside Avenue, after midnight, South of Lawrence, is turning into a half-mile drag strip again. I've had complaints, people at the community said to me, it's getting bad, is there anything we can do about it? And I mean, we're not talking to the railway tracks, we're talking over. We start at the bottom end and it's just constant.
What are you doing?
So I'm asking, what is it? I've seen it after midnight when I've been out walking the dog. The cars know you guys aren't out there, they're just fine.
Well, we are out there.
I know you.
Midnight is the witching hour. Happy's not out there.
No.
But
I'm not looking up to midnight and 3, and there's been rumblings in the community, but there's constant, it's constant.
Yeah, I can do that. Do you know how long after midnight it is?
I've seen at 1 or 2 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. I lose my powers after
You're what's the speed limit on Morningside? It's 60 or 70, right? Yeah, what is it now? Is it 60, right? And I've seen, I swear guys are doing 100 after midnight.
You know what, it goes back to that, we're conducting enforcement areas. I'll sort of take that back to, my colleagues, running the students during those times, I'll be aware of it. It's,
You know what the problem is too is, and I think part of the problem is the city likes to synchronize the lights after midnight, and that's part of the issue. So, you know, Morningside, going back historically over 5 years ago, South of Lawrence was 2 crosswalks, and that was because the issues in the schools, no question. But the lights, it hasn't done anything for the drag racing or the speed racing. And the problem is the city likes to sync lights after midnight to keep the traffic flow going. Well, that's nice, except they're actually helping these guys.
yeah.
If they threw some red lights up there, or an extra 5 GO trains into tracks, like, you know, I mean, yeah. But it's getting worse again. I mean,
You know, what we can do is we can share that information with traffic services.
Could you?
We'll certainly put it on our, especially we could even change shifts and see what happens.
Isn't there a camera on that is?
Okay, let's call it back there.
Thank you.
I don't think it's a camera.
Is there a camera?
And you can use the camera for speed.
There's a red light camera at the corner of Morningside and Lawrence, no question.
No.
Nothing, no.
The GO trains will have cameras on. So is there any other?
Yes, I wanted to applaud you, first of all, because Tom needs to tell you about some information about the McCowan Square parking lot issue on the northeast corner of McCowan and Ellesmere. I was the guy that actually tried calling you to say we've got an issue here. We've got cars pulling in the wrong way, pulling out the wrong way. Also, there's an issue. I do a already coming out. You've been parking on my street, so I see you there. It still is an issue, and people are blatantly, obviously, ignoring all of the other. There's tons of signs actually posted, but they don't apply to that individual specifically. So what can we do in our area to help that? I've gone into the parking lot after them, and I've been told by other officers that I should not be doing that. I'm not a cowboy, but you know, I'm trying to sort of, I guess, indicate that we're watching you as well, because it's our area. We have kids, we have, you know, we have people. It's an immigrant area as well now. People may not be aware that they should go to the stoplight so they can cross properly, and they're crossing in front of the parking lot. Cars are pulling in the wrong way. Ellesmere is heavily traveled. It will increase so with the Pan-Am games. What can we do to help you? I've spoken to our counselor already, and he's working on a few things.
Yes. I know we did talk about, we talked about the traffic study in the area.
You may plant some trees along there so that you can't pull in. That's another thing.
You know, I don't think there's a magic pill here. I think it's a little bit of everything. And certainly we'll play a part, the city plays a part, you know, the traffic engineers even play a part. And I think collectively, that's how we're probably going to end up solving this problem.
I am getting traction right now because there is a campaign year right now as well, so they are paying attention.
Yes, they are.
But I'd like to see that happening.
Yes.
So if there's anything that we need to do to help you, I'd like to pass along the
Well, certainly if there's any comments, sorry.
James, if you could just give your name to what area you represent, so that we.
Would it be at the Vendale area, at the north area? Okay. I am new to this group, I've never been here before.
Yeah, you're very welcome
Thank you.
to be here. We appreciate the question. One of the things, and looking at Paul Rowe, who's over there tweeting, because we live tweet this meeting as well, we can look to Paul to do something with auxiliary officers, to do some education. Yeah, I think it is wise advice for you not to be chasing people in the parking lot trying to educate them. But it's certainly appropriate for our auxiliary officers to partner with us to educate in that area. So that's something we can definitely engage in moving forward. I appreciate that. And Paul, if you could report back in the next CPLC what we've done to address that, that would be great.
And if there's one other thing, if you see somebody who's a chronic offender, grab us the license plate and we'll follow up with that as well. And
Do you want a picture of it, or do you just want to, because I'm not supposed to be using this one.
They'll take it anywhere we get.
That was another point about approaching themselves, quickly and radically, 90% of our listeners to receive your approach politely, and we're afraid you might run into the one that's not quite ready to receive it. This is being earned.
And if I could also add, interestingly enough, the ones that are contracting are the ones that should know better based on what they are driving.
We find that all the time.
So,
It's not unique to your problem.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, but excellent job. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Any other issues you'd like to raise? Seeing none, we'll just close that particular item over, and we'll be happy in some of our extra time we usually have. So, myself, Peter, the inspector have all sent their bits. Tim Bates has spoken. Jen Johnson out here. Hopefully in the next CPLC if he's available. Next Sergeant Jay Auckland. So he will be coming in to replace Jen. So we're just going to go on straight into Paul Rowe. Paul, anything to say?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just because Paul's on his phone doesn't mean he's speeding.
Is that good for you?
Hold it.
Good introduction, I do appreciate it. And time is getting on, so I'm going to be very brief. Thanks very much for all the support for me. That's fantastic. As you've seen today, that's been a rise in break-in enters, and as is probably mentioned here, all of us are here as officers meet with the superintendent and inspectors others once a week. And he carefully, as others do, analyzes statistics, and it's been said that 8 break enters are up. He had challenged us in going into 2015 to be more formal what's being done, but we wanted some action on it. Our office tends to be more in the community response, and we were trying to think what we could do very, very quickly. Moving forward will be much more formal and things will be professionally printed, but in the interim, what we do immediately is Julie Campbell and myself. Every time there's a break and enter, we have committed to either ourselves in an urgent situation, or if we can wait, the auxiliaries will assist us if they're available to put 100 flyers out in each door of the neighboring places where there's been break and enter. Reason being is these things, as it's probably been seen, if you started to charge break and enter, it's usually in clusters. Some that breaks into one house and 10 come back. And as I was saying in the meeting earlier today, it's great that we can certainly from the lock that the person has already been broken into. Fantastic. Give them a sense of security if you want to stop others from happening. Please hand it out wherever you would like. The only difference that has happened is I've taken off the line that kind of break and enter in your neighborhood. Because obviously we don't want you handing these out and causing mayhem. So these are the general statistics. One, you need two, because one is for an apartment building, and the other one is for urban residential. Okay? We'll just leave them at the back and we'll leave it at that for today. Great to see everyone and hope everyone had a fantastic summer. Now we've got something funny going back there, so we'll see what that is.
I hope that you guys are a little more professional at the big business. I know we're way over time, so I'm going to be really fast. I'm just going down some info here. At our last CPLC before the summer break, I gave an extensive report. It was great for the CPLC. However, it was obviously not great for our police. I won't go on about it too much. We met as partner with every major organization in the area. Busy last year, we're more busy than ever. We're partnering with more schools. City of Toronto, of course, and all the other ones that I mentioned last year. We're directly involved with thousands of people. We have initiatives including soccer, martial arts, weightlifting, hockey, using more important communication, swimming, beaver scouts, football, woodworking, and some community apprenticeships that are being handed over to students. I'll report on that a little more in the next CPLC meeting. We're expanding on social media. Our safety and information sessions that we run for youth, adults, and seniors, we're continuing them. We're starting to work out our dates in the future. Our social media reach in 42 dimensions is higher than ever on Facebook, Twitter. We also have an Instagram account, which I'll be posting next week.
Thank you. Just before we get to the next item, Randy does a lot of great work in our division. There's a lot that goes on through a year. He did speak. I'd like to ask him, so they talked about 911, next meeting, to come back with something that will give us a snapshot of what's going on during the summer, what's going on year to date with community engagement, especially specifically youth.
You got
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you know, Brand, I know what Randy does because we sense that Brand is engaged in community engagement. And I know that he does fantastic work, and we're seeing the results of that in real tangible ways, some of which he tells you about, and I'd like to tell you about it in a more formal way. So picture the next meeting, that'd be great. Last item on the agenda for the live portion is Joseph for Life Foundation.
Well, I think what you asked Brendan to do, I mean, I think that's going to basically sum it up also, along with the other police initiatives. But I did want to say that Danzig 1 year's 2-year anniversary was awesome between officers and the community there. I mean, there was a picture taken with a kid on the 4x4, yeah. So that was pretty awesome. So I didn't want to say that. So that's all I really want to say. But it's great to see that community grow.
And just to close off the live portion of the meeting, the work that with Randy, and there's been so much work done by For Life and the Toronto Police. Obviously, work with Randy so that next meeting we can bring something a little bit more visual, so that we can appreciate really the work that you do, harness our relationships in the community with youth. It really does make a tangible difference in crime, which is what we're about. We're about, in the Toronto Police and the CPLC, we're about building relationships. We're about changing the crime pattern in the division, making the division safer. And this community needs that to see real tangible results. That sometimes you guys take for granted what you do. I can tell you from where I sit in the statistic area, you're having a real impact, and I want everybody in the CPLC to really fully understand that. So next meeting, you get that presentation available. That would be great. We'll just close off the live portion of our